they were never ready for it?
We run the ball because we don't have the American quarterback and the American receiver, so we do what we have to do, and we've got some good linemen and a lot of running backs, so we just utilize, get in tight and play old-fashioned football and try to keep ball control.
Have you seen Amsterdam? Will you alter your tactics at all there? They'll obviously be ready for a running game.
No, that's what we're going to play. Same thing. We've done it all year, and that's all we've got. We can't do much more than that. We can throw if we have to, but I hated to start throwing the ball around there, you know, with the lead, so we just kept running the ball, and fortunately we were able to.
And even when the Italians were coming back at you, they seemed a very pumped-up side, yours.
Yeah, the kids did real super. They worked hard all week, and you know, and we roomed with the Italians, and the Italians were a little boisterous, and you know, our guys wanted the game real bad.
Well, commentating alongside James Richardson is the chairman of the British American Football Association, Lance Cohn. Lance, a big day for American football this side of the Atlantic.
Well, it is that. We're expecting 10,000, 12,000 people on a Sunday afternoon in August. Two fine British American teams of knockouts. We've got the European finalists here, and everybody's looking forward to a good day.
What kind of a game do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be as close as the coaches are predicting?
It's a little bit of a toss-up because we have contrasting styles. The Helsinki team is very strong, very physical, and will stay on the ground pretty much, while the team from Amsterdam, the Crusaders, throw a little bit more, scramble a little bit more, play a little more open game. It'll be kind of a little bit of a bumblebee against a wasp, I think. They're a little bit bigger.
There will be Americans in key positions on both sides, but both have strength in depth.
They do. I think each team is only allowed 2 Americans, and keeping in mind that you have a squad of 45, while they have an impact, it's you need 5 players.
Right, well, sit back and enjoy it. Enjoy the commentary.
I shall, and I wish you all a good day out here with us.
The Amsterdam Crusaders were started just 4 years ago when a split in the Amsterdam Rams led to 10 players founding a new club in September 1984. It meant a new start with untested players, but the decision to leave the Dutch champions bore fruit when 3 years later these Amsterdam Crusaders won the 1987 Tulip Bowl to depose their former teammates as the top side in Holland. Nowadays, they own their home stadium, and with around 100 members are one of the strongest teams in Europe. In Winston Ronde, they've also got the only European coach in the tournament. They are nicknamed the Crews by their fans, who've seen them rise from a small group of players in the park to the dominant team in Holland over the last 2 seasons. Paul Trott is the heart of this Dutch team as head coach and also as quarterback. This is his 3rd season with the Crusaders, but previously he's made champions of both the Paris Blue Angels and the Finnish East City Giants. Ricky Ramshahai was MVP, most valuable player for the Dutch national team, when they lost to Britain 2 years ago. With an 11.3 per carry average, he's Holland's leading running back and can also move out of the backfield for passes. The Helsinki Roosters were formed by a group of enthusiasts and some US exchange students as one of Finland's 7 charter teams. Now back then, the only equipment they had was ice hockey gear, but by 1982, the Roosters had learned enough to become Finnish champions in the Maple Bowl. Nowadays, they're dominating Finland's league with a brand of power football that's proved unstoppable throughout Europe. It's a college style of play that they picked up on a trip to Michigan State University in 1985. And they must have learned some lessons well, because the perfection of their running attack has won them consecutive Maple Bowls in 86 and 87 and also made them favourites for this year's Finnish Championship. The key man behind the Russian game is number 9, Mike Kane, All-American running back, who clocked up 1,523 yards in just 9 games this season. Joining him in the backfield is Finland's all-time leading rusher, number 34, Ari Tuli. This year, Ari shook off a hand injury to run for 1,420 yards in his 8th season for the Helsinki Roosters. So the Amsterdam Crusaders, veterans of 2 remarkable comeback victories in the quarterfinals and semi-finals of this year's 1988 Eurobowl, preparing to receive the kick from the Helsinki Roosters.
sunny day, which might affect some of the line play that's going on. The Helsinki Roosters are quite a bit bigger and stronger than the Amsterdam Crusaders, and it's whether or not this heat is going to have a factor. 3 hours in the sun with a helmet and shoulder pads can make quite a bit of difference. The first couple of plays will set the tone of the game. It'll be the might and power of Helsinki versus the speed and finesse of Amsterdam. Looking forward to this game.
It'll be number 6 to kick for the Helsinki Roosters. He is Tapio Heikkila. And the kick bounces down about the 20-yard line. It's taken by number 20. Taken back up to the 25-yard line where he's met up by a whole host of Rooster special teams. That was So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Amsterdam Crusaders on the 36-yard line. They're a team that doesn't like to score early. They like to see what the opposing team will do, and then they'll come back with a late rush in the last minutes of the game that will leave the spectators breathless and leave the Crusaders as victors. But both teams have come here to win, to walk out of here Amsterdam Crusaders, to walk out of here the Eurobowl champions, but only one team, of course, can be the victors. Poltroth with the snap. He fakes the handoff to Ricky Ramshaw. It's a long bomb downfield. Well, it's interesting that the first offensive play for the Amsterdam Crusaders in their semi-final against the Berlin Eagles was the very same pass as that. It was intended for Mark Schrader.
Paul Troth is just testing out the defense. He found a lot of luck when he was doing this against Berlin teams, and now he's just testing out the safeties. He's reading the defense to see how they will react.
That play broken up by Jaakko Leto, the cornerback of the Helsinki Roosters. Completion leaves the Amsterdam Crusaders with 10 yards still to go. Now they're second down, just past the 35-yard line. Ricky Ramshaw alone in the field. The pitch out was to him. He makes it just to the line of scrimmage and no further. Ari Kalto, one of the Finnish defensive line, coming in with a stop there. And a gain of 2 yards for the Crusaders. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Trying to stretch, the Amsterdam team is trying to get around the outside. I think they were looking for the outside just then, but the block wasn't sufficient. They had to come back inside for no gain.
The Poltroth lined up under the center to receive the snap. He's going, and this time it spins out of the hands of number 8, Rob Kinnan. So the aerial attack that served the Crusaders so well through the qualifying games for this final comes up a little short for them now.
I think you'll find that this is what they're going to have to do. They've come out, they've thrown 2 and run 1. They're going to have to keep the ball in the air. I know they really don't want their defense on the field too often against this hot day against a very strong team, so they're going to want to run that ball a little bit more than they've tried.
Well, 4th down now, and the Crusaders lined up to take the punt. Poltroth getting the ball high there, and it's number 31, Ricardo Zimmerman, who's chasing it upfield, but it goes out of bounds at the 17-yard line of the Roosters. I beg your pardon, Poltroth, a tremendously versatile player. He punts, he quarterbacks. He's also, according to assistant coach Johnny Johnson, the premier leader of men he's worked with in 40 years of coaching. That's Ricardo Zimmerman, number 31, and he's had impressive statistics in this tournament. He's blocked 2 punts in 2 games, and both of those plays have been big, game-breaking defensive plays. 1st and 10 now for the Roosters. Mike Kane, you'll be seeing a lot of him running out of the backfield this afternoon. He makes a gain of about 2 yards. It's taken upfield to the 18-yard line.
There's very nice penetration by number 51. He cut across the line, caught the man by his heels in the background. For those of you who haven't seen this formation before, it's called a double wing, but don't worry so much where they line up. worry very much where the men start when the ball is snapped, and it looks much more familiar then.
2nd and 9 for the Roosters. Well, there you see the misdirection play that the Roosters love to play. In on the stop was Ricardo Zimmerman, number 31, cornerback for the Crusaders. He's a big defensive player, as we mentioned, for the Amsterdam Crusaders, and it's going to need big defensive plays against the Roosters. One of the things they love to do is fake the handoff. The opposing team knows they're going to run, they just don't know who they're going to use to move the ball upfield. And as a result, the Roosters love to swap the ball around. They fake the handoff to one running back, they hand it off to another, maybe sometimes they even fake the handoff after the ball's already gone. 19-yard line of the Roosters, it's 3rd and 9. Finland's leading running back, Ari Tuli, making the play there. The stop was by number 32. And that is Menno Gibson, the strong safety of the Cruise. Both teams having a little difficulty making the big breaks here on their first drives. They're probably a little nervous, trying to find their feet against the opposition. The Roosters now with the ball on the 22-yard line. That's number 33, Rauno Laxo, cornerback, coming in on the stop on number 21.
I think you'll find, James, kind of interesting, that's only the 2nd time the Helsinki team has had to punt. That's the only 2nd time in this entire tournament that they could not move the ball when they wanted to. Maybe we're seeing a new Dutch resistance to the Helsinki Roosters. There is a flag down, though.
We're waiting for the official's call on that. There you saw number 33, Rauno Laxo, wrestling down number 21 to the ground. That's Kim Tanglis.
Quite often when it's back there, it could be roughing the kicker, but we'll have to see exactly what the official's calling.
It's a clipping call. A late hit on the receiver called against the Helsinki Roosters.
We have a clip against the red, personal foul against the white, replay the down.
So both penalties cancelling each other's out. The Roosters were called for late hitting on the receiver. The Crusaders had already been called for clipping on the play. That's a hit on the back of the leg, an illegal tackle. And as a result, the down will be replayed. So 4th and 6.
It's just all redo. I think this time when they have that kicker and they let him go, they have to be seen to make an effort not to hit the man after he kicks. You cannot just run into him. You're seen, if the referee sees that you're trying not to hit the kicker, he will not call a penalty. But if you don't make an effort to avoid him, he will give you a 15-yard penalty each time. They have to be a little more careful after the ball gets in the air.
Right, the ball on the 23-yard line. Kari Kettinen, the Finnish quarterback, behind the center ready to take the snap. Again, it's Kim Tanglisson trying to make the return. But that's the Finnish special team showing their quality. They got right down there, stopped him before he could make any ground from his original line of reception. And the ball taken down on the 42-yard line. Bill Dwackwish, who's an American linebacker, one of the 2 American players with the Roosters, coming in to make the stop and pin the Crusaders down on their own 37-yard line.
I think he lost that little moment that he had bouncing the ball off his chest, allowed the defense to get to him a little bit quicker. So he lost that little bit of step he might have had he caught the ball cleanly.
1st and 10 at the 37. Well, you saw that as well as I did. That was the Crusaders offensive line getting off the mark a little too quickly. That was John Willems, the left tackle from the Cruise offensive line. And the officials moved the ball back downfield 5 yards.
Against the offense.
We used to call that introducing yourself to the other man. In the early part of the game, you want to make sure he knows that you're there. And he has just introduced himself, folks.
I think he was breaking the ice a little too early there, Lance. As a result, it's a 1st and 15 now for the Amsterdam Crusaders. Well, there you see it. Helsinki are a very disciplined team. In 2 games so far in the Eurobowl, they've given up a total of 70 yards, just 45 yards in the semi-final. So they Ramshahar making the reception out of the backfield. He's not just a great catches. Alwyn back for the Helsinki Roosters, coming in on the stop with zone coverage with a short pass.
Well, if you notice, Ricky Ramshahar not only runs, but he catches. I would also point out that he is a heck of a karate man, almost representing injury. So if he tackles it, if he catches it, you might tackle him cleanly, please.
That's Troth for Ramshahar. He breaks around the right-hand side of the line, and he's stopped quickly.
But they are beginning to move the ball on the ground now. And I think we've just seen our first down. They've moved the ball, as opposed to passing it, they've run around the outside, making the Helsinki Roosters pay attention to the running game.
That was Juha Liades on the stop on Ricky Ramshahar. So the Crusaders moving the ball upfield. They've got a first down now. The ball lies inside the Roosters' half. It'll be the 47-yard line.
Yeah, boy.
Looks like this is intended for Schrader, and indeed it is. He goes down at the 33-yard line of the Roosters. That's the first reception of the day. He's a big play man for the Amsterdam Crusaders. They don't always go to him. They like to save him for their clutch receiver.
I think that the Helsinki team is going to have to watch this play quite a bit. As they go back to prevent the deep pass, they're going to throw under the zone, looking for Schrader quite a bit. That was very successful against the Ravens and is proving successful again today.
Again, with the American Bill Jackerish coming in on the stop, and he's going to have a busy afternoon. They close down the Amsterdam pass, which they love to go to. Troth passing again. Intended for Rob Kimman, but the defensive back, Jack Oleto, in there on the stop. The cornerback, again, will see a lot of action today because the Crusaders love to go to the pass. Helsinki Roosters, as you know, are a big running team. There's Jack Oleto. He's a cornerback. He's made some big stops in the semi and quarterfinals so far in this tournament. A vital defensive player for the Helsinki Roosters. But the ball's moving upfield all the time for the Crusaders. They now got it up to the 39-yard line of the Roosters. Well, that's the familiar figure of Paul Troth stepping back for the pass. And again, it's intended for Rob Kimman. He looks a little upset that he missed that, but he was drawing double coverage. Obviously, the Helsinki Roosters have seen his statistics. He's been a very productive receiver for the Amsterdam Crusaders. They have the same kind of problem as the Roosters. Teams know what they like to do. They know they like to go to the pass, and they try and double team their receivers. As you see, the Crusaders come back to the line of scrimmage. The ball at the 39-yard line. It's a 3rd and 10.
Well, he's going to have to go to the air on this. He's thrown all of his passes to the left or the middle. He might just try and probe the right side for a change.
You're absolutely right. He thumps it off. Intended for Kim Tanglisson. But the pass is incomplete. 3rd and 10 becomes 4th and 10. I think we're going to have to see the Crusaders punting team come on here.
You're absolutely right. I think you'll find that each time he's looking downfield. There's a basic rule of quarterbacking that says you always look for the touchdown. So when he's throwing those shorter passes, it's because he's looked downfield. There's nothing there for him, and so he's looking to get rid of the ball. That means those cornerbacks are doing their job for Helsinki.
Well, surprisingly enough, on a 4th and 10, the Crusaders are not showing the punt. It's Troth again to pass. Well, Kim Tanglisson had some trouble getting through to the spot the ball was headed for. He bumped into the defensive secondary, but that can't be called for offensive interference because it just wasn't intentional.
Well, if we can see it on the replay, once that ball is in the air, everybody is eligible to catch it. And unless that man, number 42, made a definite move to impede him, it's everybody's free ball. If you run into somebody, that's just called traffic and no penalty.
Ricky Ramsahai here with a bit of massage on the Dutch sideline. It looks as though he's a little hurt. Obviously took a hard hit in the backfield as the Finnish Helsinki Roosters get ready for a 1st and 10. Ball goes back to Ari Tuli. But the Crusaders proving tougher on the defensive line than many people suspected. Tuli, Finland's leading rushing back, is stopped about a yard past the line of scrimmage. Jinder Ramshahai, who is the defensive captain for the Crusaders, making the stop there. He's described by his fellow players as an animal. They mean that as a compliment because he's a man who loves the hit, he loves to come in hard, and he really loves to stop running backs more than anything else, no matter how much they hurt him when they go down to the ground. Ball's now on the 36-yard line. It's a 2nd and 8 for the Roosters. While a whole wedge of Crusaders descending on the unfortunate Helsinki Roosters carrying the ball. Frank Piersma, the linebacker number 54 of the Crusaders, was the man making the stop.
If you watch these pulling linemen, everybody's coming over from the right side of the line, swinging over to the left side. The last time I saw that was when the Washington Redskins used it so successfully in the Super Bowl. They pull both the guard and the tackle and run to the opposite side of the field, clearing the way for a running back. We'll have to see if this intricate blocking will work against what seems to be a rather surprisingly strong Dutch team.
Mike Kane with the carry on that play. And this time, it's Kimmo Katanen who will take the ball. Frank Piersma again, coming in for the 2nd time in a row on the stop. There's Mike Kane, number 11 is Kimmo Katanen, the the Finnish quarterback. He, in fact, is ranked 3rd on the all-time passing list in Finland, but he's not a man who likes to go to the pass terribly much. It's just he's been playing so long, 8 seasons now.
Well, the Dutch team must be feeling rather good about themselves. They've stopped this team twice, which is more than anybody else has done in the tournament.
Well, the punt goes downfield, bouncing again towards Kim Ten-Glissen. Finally going down just past the 10-yard line, where number 33, Rano Laxo, touches it down for the Roosters. So back to the Amsterdam Crusaders for their offensive team. 6.5 minutes to go here in the 1st quarter. The competition being played to European rules, which means that there are 4 12-minute quarters in the game. And also a couple of other rules which are played under the NCAA rules, which is what the Europeans play. After a touchdown, a team is eligible to go for 2 points after the touchdown by running or passing the ball into the end zone instead of going for the kick. Troth hands it off to Kim Ten-Glissen. What a great burst. He ran out the right-hand side of the line of scrimmage, evaded the first series of tackles, and took it out to about the 20-yard line.
I think you'll find that that play was to go off guard. You can see him coming in. He looks inside. There's no place to go, and he starts bouncing to the outside, and he bounces out yet again. He made an extra 7 yards just by going to the outside. Now, the Helsinki Roosters are a well-drilled team. They know you don't let a man get to the outside. Force him back to the inside where you got some fellow help.
2nd and 3 for the Crusaders. And off is to Ten-Glissen again, but this time the Roosters are ready for him. He's trying to take the middle of the line as his opening, but there was no space there. They see Jan Malki on the sideline. As the Crusaders move upfield for a 1st down.
It's interesting that Paul Troth, the quarterback, didn't try something on 2nd down because he had, in effect, 2nd down and 1. That's normally a time you might try an experiment, but apparently because he's in his own 20, he didn't want to take any risk, just move the ball forward.
It's a 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line for the Crusaders. As Rob Kimmen splits out to the right-hand side of the line and Kim Ten-Glissen moves out to the left. Indeed, Troth gets aerial. Ball intended for Ten-Glissen. He receives it. The ball is taken down at the 35-yard line. Great reception. The coverage from Jacko Leto. Kim Tanglisson just shrugged it off to bring the ball into his chest and move the Crusaders upfield for another first down.
That was a delightful play, as good as you'll see on any college campus in America. Quarterback drops back, finds his receiver just in front of a man who's playing the defense as well as you can play it. A superb catch. You won't see anything better than that anywhere.
And the pass just getting off before the finish. Pass rush got to Paul Troth, number 15, the Amsterdam quarterback. Ball now on the 35-yard line for the Amsterdam Crusaders. Ronald Roysplan with a big strike up the middle. He took 4 Helsinki Roosters to bring him down. The man making the big stop at the start was number 42, Mika Lidman. But a great play there by Roysplan. Not a big runner. He's only 5'11". He took the ball up to the 46-yard.
I'm sorry, James, if you see him when he comes up, he runs a little bit high with his head up, but he's an intelligent runner. He didn't use his speed until he got through the line. A good run on his part. He picked his hole well.
Well, it's another 1st and 10 for the Crusaders, who are making a habit of this. Troth calling the play to his backfield, and Kim Tanglisson splits left, and Mark Schrader, the tight end, splits right. Tanglisson moving back in now. And it's Tanglisson again with the reception. Tanglisson's great because he makes a couple of yards after the pass then. He knew enough to get to the sideline before Jacko Leto could push him out, and that takes the ball upfield.
I think you may have had more than just took him out of scrimmage. Normally when you see a flag go down past there, you'll see him throwing the ball to the back. You see the man going out of scrimmage. Do we have a late hit? I think that's what they're calling. You're not supposed to hit the man once he's out of the play. I think you'll find that's 15 yards against Helsinki, something that will not please their coach. They're playing a fine defensive game. You don't want to give up free 15-yard penalties.
Jacko Leto a little over-enthusiastic on the defensive coverage there.
Personal foul against the defense, late hit out of bounds.
So a late hit out of bounds called against Jacko Leto. The ball now moved back to the 34-yard line of the Helsinki Roosters.
Here he comes, here he comes. Now he's out of there, and they put the extra hit in, and again, as I mentioned earlier, there was no attempt made not to hit the man. They could have pulled up, they could have raised their hands, they could have turned away from him. Instead, they went into him. Referees are very aware of preventing injuries. One of the ways of doing that is to stop anything that could be construed as a late hit. So they will not do that, and it's good refereeing.
Meanwhile, the Helsinki Roosters have called a timeout. Their defense is being stretched here by the Crusaders and their passing attack. They've been moved back down the field to their own 34-yard line.
3 minutes and 1 second left in the first quarter.
And there you hear 3 minutes and 1 second left in the first quarter. Still no score here in the final of the Eurobowl 88, the match that decides the champion team of European American football. And what a surprise to see these two teams here. A lot of people thought the Crusaders wouldn't make it past the first round when they met the mighty London Ravens, but it was the Ravens who took the defeat. The Crusaders went on to beat, in the last couple of minutes, the Berlin Adler, the Berlin Eagles in English that is, by 1 point. They're now facing Finns. A lot of people thought the Finns would walk all over the Crusaders because they're that much bigger, but so far these Crusaders are looking the team that are better equipped to push the ball upfield. Troth going to the pass again, just a little overthrown. Kai Oy on the coverage for Helsinki, the pass intended for Winston Runde, the man who incidentally calls the defensive plays for the Crusaders. He went out to Whittier College in California a couple of years back, picked up a lot of coaching tips, and is now, as we say, the only European coach in the tournament. He plays on offense as wide receiver. He was Paul Troth's intended receiver on that pass, but he couldn't get out into the end zone to be on the other end of the ball. 2nd and 10 for the Crusaders. Out goes Rob Kimman on the left-hand side of the line, and it's Kim Tanglisson on the right. But the Crusaders decide to run. Ronald Rooseplan. He takes 2 tackles before coming down. Juha Liades making the stop.
It's a little indication again of the running game. Everybody expected the pass. Boom, right off tackle. A step to the outside, another very good gain. It's something Helsinki's going to have to put a little more men on that line to stop number 20 from bursting through each time.
So the Crusaders have the ball on the Roosters' 22-yard line. It's a 1st and 10. They're coming up to the line of scrimmage. Same formation as before.
I think you'll find he took a little bit too much time on that formation. That formation is what we call a full house, when you get everybody back there, and then they start from that. Then they move everybody out.
5-yard penalty.
And they did, I'm afraid, use a little bit too much time in between plays, cost them 5 yards. They have to come out of the huddle a little bit quicker if they're going to use motion plays.
Well, the Crusaders see the ball move back to the 27-yard line of the Roosters. They had a 1st and 10. It's moved back now to a 1st and 15. Fakes the handoff, goes for the play-action pass. Watch Troth get the ball downfield. So nearly the interception there for number 42, Mika Lidman. Crusaders going for the pass again, looking for the score on that play, but Mika Lidman came in to get the ball away. He could have made the interception, but at least the deflection means that there's no gain for the Crusaders.
Well, that was just a great defensive play. He can see the quarterback rolling. He rolled with him. He stepped in front of the defender and knocked the ball down. He was very lucky to get away with that it didn't go through his hands for a touchdown, but he played that as well as any defender can play a pass.
Still no game for the Crusaders. They're back on the 27-yard line of the Roosters. And a double backfield with Roosblad. As Troth goes to the pass, again it's incomplete. So the air attack of the Crusaders, which looked so effective in their first drive, starting to dry up a little now. The coverage of the Finnish secondary really taking its toll on the receivers of the Crusaders.
I think you'll find that a little bit of that down to the rush at the Helsinki line. Paul's getting a little less time than he had earlier, so he's throwing the ball a little bit quicker, trying to force some of those passes. His receivers aren't necessarily open. He's trying to make things happen right now.
So the ball's still on the 27-yard line. 3rd down now for the Crusaders. They come all the way upfield from their own 20-yard line, and they're desperate to convert this drive into a score as Troth goes back for the pass. Taylor receiver Mark Schrader, but it's knocked out of his hands. A great play by Mika Lidman.
Well, again, he's dropping back. He gets a little bit more time. He waits, he waits, he waits, he throws. And here comes Lidman right across, knocks the ball down. Double coverage out there with Roth looking for his favorite receiver, but he was well covered yet again.
You see the pass rush that you're talking about there, Lance. Ari Kauto coming in just too late to make the sack on Paul Troth.
Well, I can promise you Paul Troth is aware of him coming in, because out of the corner of your eye, you see that little flash, and you know he's got the wrong color jersey. He knows he's there.
So the Crusaders' drive has dried up here on the 27-yard line. Jaco Dix in to make the kick, hoping for 3 points and a field goal. And it drops just short. Not quite enough power in that kick from Jaco Dix, who plays both defensive lineman and kicker. He can't make the 3 points for the Crusaders. Their offense goes off the field. Still no score here in the first quarter of the Daily Mail Eurobowl 88 final.
He gets it just there. He gets nice height, and it drops just in front of the bar, which serves warning on everybody that, yes, he can kick.
Roosters back on offense. That's Mike Kane. Great stop by Ricardo Zimmerman. Ricardo Zimmerman's a cornerback, but he comes up onto the line of scrimmage to make early tackles on the running backs of the Roosters. Mike Kane, as we said, clocked up 1,523 yards in the Finnish league this season, but finding the going a little more difficult here against the Dutch champions. 2nd and 9 now for the Helsinki Roosters. The ball is on the 27-yard line. Well, there you see the misdirection. The ball went to Kimmo Livonen, and Ricardo Zimmerman again making the stop. Beg your pardon, number 20 is Jussi Arantala, a running back who gets a lot of plays from the play callers of Helsinki.
All right, if you notice there, he gives it to him and does the fake around the outside, but number 20 was given the ball at scrimmage. Now that's a play that you can either give the first dive man or you can give the swing man who's the trailing back. On that case, they give it to the first man to scrimmage.
3rd and 3 now for the Helsinki Roosters. Ari Tuli receives a fake, not the handoff, and it's Kari Kettunen who runs the ball. He's taken upfield, taken down by Mac Roy, the defensive tackle of the Amsterdam Crusaders. But no matter who carries the ball, it moves the field. It's the 33-yard line now. It's not enough for the first down, so the Roosters find themselves 4 yards still to go on their 4th down, with a punt formation in on the field. Well, that was a bad snap for Tapio Heikkilä. Ball intended for number 34, Rufus van Gogh, the running back. The ball just bounced to the ground and the Roosters just left it there. The ball goes down to the 14-yard line.
When you go back as a kicker and the ball makes you move like that, you lose your protection because you're no longer considered a kicker. Once your feet move, you're considered a runner. In order not to get hit, you have to stop and reestablish yourself as a kicker. Otherwise, you are allowed no protection whatsoever. He won't want to see any more swings like that. He'll want a pass coming straight back to him.
Well, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. You see here the closing seconds of the first quarter of the Daily Mail Eurobowl 88. And the score is still 0-0. Welcome back to the National Sports Centre at Crystal Palace, London, England. It's the Helsinki Roosters versus the Amsterdam Crusaders. As you see, there's no score yet, but the Crusaders on a 1st and 10. The handoff was to 21, Kim Tanglison, the stop by Koi Koisti, the defensive tackle of the Roosters. So far, neither team has managed to convert their drives into scores, and unusually, the Finns have found that their rushing attack isn't enough to make the ball go into the end zone. The Crusaders have found a way to stop that rush in a way that the Italian champions and the Swiss champions have not been able to. Out goes Mark Schrader on the right-hand side of the line.
Unfortunately, we saw yet another delay of game penalty. The quarterback, Paul Trough, calls most of his signals at the line of scrimmage, and depending upon what the Helsinki defense does, he counter-changes it. And I think you saw an example of it there, where he called one when he saw the defense they were in. Helsinki began running around to cover it. He changed his signal, unfortunately ran out of time before he got the ball off scrimmage.
Ball moves back to the 21-yard line of the Crusaders. As again you see Mark Schrader moving out on the right-hand side of the line. Play action pass, he dumps it off to Kim Tanglison, but it bounces off his helmet. Well, that'll be incomplete for the Crusaders, and Kim Tanglison is not happy about that. The incompletion leaves the Crusaders still with 13 yards to go for the first down.
Well, I think Kim shouldn't be too happy with that. He drove back, the pass was fine. We have an expression where I hear feet coming, and that means I think there's somebody going to hit me. And I think Kim was thinking a little bit more about the hit than getting the ball. First job, catch the ball. Second job, look for the hit.
Paul Troth marshalling his troops back to the line of scrimmage. They're now on a third down. 12 yards to go. Troth with a lot of time, and he gets it to Mark Schrader, the tight end. Stop made by Juha Liades.
There's a flag down in the play, and also his favorite receivers down in the play. The flag was before for something occurring in the backfield, which we'll pick up in a second. But he really doesn't want to lose Mark Schrader. The only reason they completed that pass was because the quarterback had nobody to throw to. Mark came back, helped the quarterback out, gave him a target, and paid for it with a pretty heavy hit.
Interestingly enough, Mark Schrader used to play in the British League last year. He played for the Luton Flyers in the Budweiser League.
If you think that's a coincidence, well, here he is again. Let's watch the play. He comes across, gives a target.
It's the offense, decline, fourth down.
Fourth down. You think it's interesting that Mark played for Luton. Mark also played for the two coaches that are now coaching the Helsinki Roosters, and that might mean that he knows the offense. Let's hope he gets up and around. I don't like it when a player's not moving on the field.
Well, the ball on the 24-yard line of the Amsterdam Crusaders. It's a 4th and 9 now for the Amsterdam Crusaders. Their clutch receiver, tight end Mark Schrader, is down on the field. And he looked hurt in that tackle by Juha Liades, number 17, the linebacker.
Well, if you can see here, it was a clean hit. He reached up, he got himself planted, and before he could actually get turned upfield, he got grabbed, spun, and then the second man hit him. And it was that second hit by number 17, straight clean, but it's just that Mark had been spun around, was unable to get his balance, and got hit by the second man. I think you will see him play again in about 2 minutes as soon as he shakes his head clear and starts counting up how many backbones still hurt.
Well, applause there from the spectators as Mark Schrader is helped off the field. We don't...
Welcome back to the National Sports Centre at the Crystal Palace in London. The final of the Daily Mail Eurobowl 88. The Helsinki Roosters leading the Amsterdam Crusaders by 14 points to 7. Amsterdam have come back both in the quarters and the semis. Can they come back again? Let's join our commentators, James Richardson and Lance Coe.
14 points to 7 the score. The Roosters scored first with a Mike Kane 52-yard run. That put them 7-0 ahead. It was the Crusaders next. Troth diving behind his offensive line as they surged over the goal line to make the score even on 7-7. And the Roosters came back in the second quarter when Jyrki Ahola, number 36, running the ball into the end zone, fumbled, and the tight end Timo Backman fell on the ball, recovered the fumble for the Roosters, and put 6 points on the scoreboard in the process. So the score then 14 points to 7. The second half getting ready to start.
Well, as we start off this second half, we're starting off yet again with one touchdown individual, one touchdown difference between the two teams. It's going to be a little bit down to the wire this afternoon. The heat's playing a factor. The Helsinki Roosters on that big line have begun to establish themselves. I would think that the Dutch Crusaders, the Amsterdam Crusaders, would want to come out throwing a little bit. They want to come out throwing.
It's almost surprising to find the Crusaders only down by one touchdown, Lance. Being a Cruise fan really isn't a occupation for those with a nervous disposition. They really do leave it to the last minute before coming back to snatch victory. And as you say, are they going to do it again today? As Jacko kicks off the second half. Well, the return is up to the 42-43 yard line. Jussi Arantala returning the kick for the Roosters, and Romeo Banderson, the defensive lineman. He's only 17 years old, but he came in there on the stop, leaving the Roosters on their own 43 yard line for a 1st and 10. Thule in motion, he gets the handoff. He's running the left-hand side of the line of scrimmage. Ricardo Zimmerman. He made a lot of big stops in the first half, and he's there on the first play of the second, making the stop on Ari Thule, number 34. Tooley, though, a great running back, had already made ground up to the 49. Lance.
Well, the Roosters have come out the way they intend to go on. They've come out with a running game, 6 yards, first carry.
49-yard line, second and about 3 yards for the Roosters. And the ball going down at about the midway mark of the field.
I think you'll see a defensive offside there. The left side of the Dutch line jumped a little bit. So they would have gone to try, and anything they would have gotten was a benefit. They've got 5 yards on the play anyway.
Looked like the defensive captain, Jinder Ramshahai, who jumped off the line a little early. They see Kimmo Livonen, who ran the play.
As we watch on the left side again, as number 39 jumped a little bit early, looking for a Red Dog that's coming in there. Got his helmet over the line of scrimmage. That's sufficient for 5 yards.
Marcel Denneboom getting off early. He couldn't get back on the line of scrimmage before the snap. So the penalty against the Crusaders lets the Roosters move upfield. They've got the ball on the 46-yard line of the Crusaders now. It's a 1st and 10. Tooley, it looks as though it might go to him, but it's Mike Kane, number 9, with the snap, and he breaks 2 tackles. He's past his 3rd. What an amazing play by this American running back. Martin Tyson, number 69, the man finally making the stop, but Tane just threw up 3 Amsterdam tackles.
Well, you can see why this man made All-American. Instead of giving up, every time he was hit, he spun. Watch him come through. It's the same play. He's following his number 59, number 11. He breaks through. The first hit, he spins. He keeps his balance. He keeps his head down. Keeps going forward. Breaks again. Keeps going forward. Lands going forward. Watch him yet again. Cuts through. First.
Actually, Lance, we're onto a new play now. And that's Jyrki Ahola who's now running the ball. Mike Kane showing great running style there. You see the knees pumping, which is the mark of a true running back, because when the tackles come, you keep the knees pumping, you keep driving downfield. You don't let them take you to the ground. But that play by Jyrki Ahola takes the Finns up to a 2nd and 9. They got the ball inside the 20-yard line. The handoff to Kimmo Livonen, who takes the ball up to about the 16-yard line before Ricardo Zimmerman, the cornerback, comes in on the stop. Interestingly enough, Carrie Ketton then faked the handoff after the ball had gone to Livonen to Ari Tooley as an additional confusion to the defense.
Well, they're using this play a lot. The fullback is very close. He just did a quick dive in. Good block on number 69, the tackle. He just goes outside. Everything else is to freeze the linebackers and the cornerbacks, but it's a fullback up the middle.
3rd and 2 as Mike Kane takes the handoff. Matt Roy in there early for the Crusaders as they push the All-American halfback back past the line of scrimmage. Ball still lying around the 16-yard line. Roosters using their running game to press home towards the Crusaders' end zone, but the Crusaders' defensive line is starting to tighten up now around people like Mike Kane. He got some big breaks, that 53-yard touchdown in the first half, but he's finally going a little tougher now.
If the Helsinki Roosters score again, then we can really see what the Dutch can do. They're not accustomed to coming back from 1 touchdown. They need to come back from 2 touchdowns.
They need a little incentive, Lance. 4th and 1. The play is Ari Tooley. Well, one of the Dutch defensive line came in to knock him back quickly. It was the defensive captain, Jinder Ramshahai. It may have been enough to halt the progress of the Finns and stop the first down. But it looked as though Ari Tooley broke the line of the plane, rather, of the first down. Lance?
There's kind of a shuffle pass forward to number 34. It was meant as a misdirection. The quarterback goes one way, shuffle pass the ball forward.
Jinder Ramshahai knocking Ari Tooley back, but just a little too late. It's Mike Kane running from the first down. He's taking it inside the 5. Well, that is inches away from the end zone. Jinder Ramshahai coming in again to make the stop for the Dutch defensive line.
Watching again as number 9 comes right through, incisive in the middle. Everybody's going left. Now he keeps drive. You're going to have to tackle him a little bit lower than that, fellas.
Well, that is Mike Kane for you. As you saw in the replay, he went straight through a whole pack of defenders, and while we were all watching that, expecting him come out of the 4 yards further on, he turns up just inches away from the end zone. He just doesn't go down when he's tackled. There goes Kane again. He's got the ball and he's in. Mike Kane with another 6 points for the Roosters. This man is invaluable to the Helsinki team.
He's almost as invaluable as that up front line blocking, because if you notice, he wasn't hit. Watch him come, goes in motion, cuts back inside, stands up into the end zone. That's outstanding line blocking down there where it counts.
Well, as you see the replay, there's a flag on the play.
It was against the defense and declined. It is a touchdown and it stands.
Not surprisingly, the Helsinki Roosters choose to keep the 6 points rather than Mike Kane got for them on that play, rather than put the Amsterdam Crusaders through their goal line D once more. Tapio Haikalu with the point after. It is good. Another point for the Roosters. As we mentioned earlier, under college rules, the teams do have the option of running or passing the ball into the end zone to get 2 points after the touchdown instead of just the 1. But so far, we haven't seen that option used. Teams opting to go for the safe 1 point with a kick each time.
Well, since we only saw Helsinki pass twice, one was a halfback option and one was a quarterback pass, I really wouldn't expect them to pass for that extra point. They're doing exactly what they wanted to do on the ground. It's 5 yards, slashing runs. Both their running backs are doing a terribly good job. Their line blocking has established their ascendancy down there, and they're doing exactly what they wanted to do on their game plan. The Dutch are now in their favorite positions, 2 touchdowns behind, and here we go. Watching it through, cutting on the inside, following his blockers, going in, standing up. Absolutely no problem. I think that flag was dropped by the referee.
Well, 9 plays for 58 yards. That's what it took the Helsinki Roosters to get into the end zone. They average just over 7 yards every carry, and that is why this field finish offense is so formidable. 21, Kim Tanglisson running towards the ball, but it'll be touched back to the 20-yard line. Well, the Amsterdam Crusaders at the wrong end of a 21-7 scoreline. It's the 3rd quarter. They do have possession of the ball now. They'll get a 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line. So far, the thing that really brought them back in the first 2 games from big deficits, which was their passing game, hasn't really given them the kind of success they'd have expected perhaps before their game. And a key feature of that has to be the absence in the first quarter of Mark Schrader after he took a big hit.
That was a lovely shift by the defensive line of the Helsinki Roosters, which stopped the Amsterdam Cold. They had gone up, called their play, the line shifted, filled every gap, and just shut that play down for exactly no gain. Watch them as they shift. Everybody moved to the right, standing right there when the ball carrier came in. No place to go.
Credit to Marka Aholo, number 17 for the Finnish Roosters. And he was the man who came in with the stop there on Kim Tanglisson. Heads-up defense from the Roosters, who are really fired up now to stop what they know is a quick strike, very potent offense of the Amsterdam Crusaders.
And there we have yet the 3rd time that Paul was forced to change his call at the line of scrimmage. Not enough time, taking a little too much time in the huddle.
Delay of game and the offense.
More importantly, this shows that they're not as confident as they should be. They're changing 2 and 3 times at the line of scrimmage. That means that defense from Helsinki is confusing them a bit.
It's a young team, Lance. They've been playing only a couple of years since the split with the Amsterdam Rams. Now's the play-action pass. It was intended for Henry Castillion, number 33. He couldn't hang on to the ball. So the Dutch stay right where they are. 3rd down and 12 now for the Crusaders.
If you watch this coming out of the backfield yet again, it's a set play he's looking for, looks down, is actually within his hands. If a quarterback hits you on the hands, you're supposed to catch it.
And you saw there in the replay, Ari Kalto and Juha Liedis putting in some of that pass rush pressure that Lance was talking about in the first half. Troth has so far emerged without a scratch on him, but that's really to the credit of his offensive line rather than the weakness of the defensive rush. There you see Ronald Roosback making the reception that the Crusaders needed so much. It was Mika Liebman coming in on the stop, but the ball goes out past the 30-yard line.
It was a nice play. As you can see, he drops back again, but he's looking deep, looking deep. Instead, he throws under the zone to a back coming out, up there, turning right. Should have been covered by number 80. Let him get away from him the one time. Paul made him pay.
Well, Ronald Roosblad finding lots of room under the zone defense that the Dutch are employing, I beg your pardon, that the Finns are employing. Troth again, opting to pass. He dumps it off to Kim Tangleson. Well, a little confusion there, and I've got to think that they would have made more ground on that play if it hadn't been for a bit of confusion between Kim Tangleson and the two blockers he was running behind. Timo Takko, the linebacker of the Finns, found time to come in.
Well, if you pick this up, when he picks up the ball out there, the blocker should go straight ahead. They must commit. Number 20 is turned around to see what he wants. Don't turn around, son. Just go straight up the field. He'll get there. Right guard Gabby von Keulen in there, and he was the one that Kim bounced into. Well, that man is Rufus van Gogh, and he's got the ball out to the 42-yard line now for the Crusaders. Mika Lidman, we've heard that name many times during the game. He comes in again with the stop. He owes that run to his fine line block. If we can pick it up, number 71 just lays out a defender. Boom, there he goes. Back is through. That's a man called Hoob Boz. Number 71, the linebacker, opened up the route there for Rufus van Gogh. It's taken the Crusaders up to the 42-yard line. Bortroth calling the play there at a first and 10. And Lance, I think you know what this is. I and everybody else in the stands know what this is. They're taking just too much time to call out those plays. If you're going to spend a lot of time in the huddle, you can't come up and change your mind 2 or 3 times. There just aren't enough seconds. Well, 5 yards is what the Dutch lose from that. They weren't managing to move the ball upfield, so that penalty is going to cost them very dear. If a play doesn't go right, you at least expect to stay where you started, not to get moved back as well. Tries back to the running game with Rufus van Gogh, but he is closed down at the line of scrimmage by that Finnish defensive line, which is really beginning to read the Dutch run so well and stop it so quickly.
And we'll be right back after the break for the final quarter.
Welcome back to Crystal Palace in London. Here you see the play that got the Amsterdam Crusaders rolling again. It was Ronald Roosblad, number 20, running right off tackle. But the real gain came when he broke 2 consecutive tackles, and it wasn't until he lost his ground that the Finnish Roosters caught up with him. Well, now it's the start of the 4th quarter. The Crusaders have moved upfield there on 3rd down with about 4 yards to go with the ball just inside the 20-yard line. They've got a 14-point deficit. They've come back against this kind of odds before, and they've got the kind of aerial attack that can get them scores quickly. What they've also got is a tough Roosters defense that makes plays like that one. I think there's a combination of their defense plus a slip by number 20. They're trying that misdirection. I'm not sure if misdirection works against a team as big and as physical as Helsinki. I'd worry a little bit less about misdirection, a little bit more about a fast execution. Watch him as he comes off, tries to show that he's going to the left, a slip and down. But there are also 2 Roosters right there. Yep, Timo Takko making a fine instinctive play, switching from his original rush route to come back against the running back and take him down on the line of scrimmage. It's Roosblad again, and it's broken big. Well, a monster hit by Mika Lidman on Ronald Roosblad there. It's enough for the first down, Lance, and this is looking a different sort of Crusaders team
just comes
to the one that was fumbling around in the third quarter, sorry. Well, as he comes through on the right side this time, again he's cutting back against the grain.
It's a simple play. The quarterback goes back, puts it in his stomach. He runs upfield looking for a hole.
The Crusaders got a first down on that, but the Roosters have got to thank Mika Lidman that they didn't maybe get 6 points. He was the man who put a crushing stop on Roostblad. This time it's Henry Castilian trying to run the ball, and he finds a hole around the right-hand side of the line of scrimmage. That's close to another first down now for the Crusaders, who are all fired up here at the start of the fourth quarter. Kai Oi coming in on the stop, but the Crusaders know the size of their task. It's 14 points they've got to make up, and they're going at it.
Well, I wonder if we're seeing some tired Roosters out there, because if you watch him, he's actually stopped at the line of scrimmage, but he keeps going. The Roosters have to regroup and go after him again. In the beginning of the game, we saw 5 people. Now we're seeing 2 Roosters, and where we saw 5 earlier.
Yeah, maybe we ought to remind people as well that although this is London, that is a hot afternoon out there, and the players will be getting very tired in the heat. As you see Henry Castilian being taken back behind the line of scrimmage by Bill Drackridge. Like the American Mike Crane on offense, he makes a hell of an impact on defense for the Roosters.
Well, again, linebackers came right up, shut off the play. He was running a bit high. When you get down that close to scrimmage, to the goal line, you want to put your head down a little bit more than that.
A lot of support there in the audience for the Amsterdam Crusaders. They were the team that knocked out the London Ravens, but their gutsy style of play has won them a lot of fans here in England's capital. Jim Mueller in motion, but the handoff looks as though it was to Castilian again, who gained maybe 2 yards on the play.
Unfortunately, I don't think the 2 yards was enough. I think we're going to go into a 4th and 1 situation.
Mika Lidman making the stop yet again on the running back.
I stand corrected. They did get a first down. It's 1st and goal. Now comes a test of the Helsinki Rooster defense.
The Crusaders offense surprises everyone, even new lines. It's close to the end zone. The Crusaders need to score here. They've only got 12 minutes in this final quarter of the game, and they're 14 points behind. Portruth knows his task. He knows the options available to him. This multifaceted offense. It's 1st and goal. You saw it before. It worked again. Again, Mike Kane uses the power of his offensive line to break the ball, put the ball past the line of the end zone.
That was Paul Trost just on a quarterback sneak carrying the ball over. He did exactly what a quarterback has to do. He came down the field. It's interesting they're using that running game more and more and more, and maybe that's going to be their salvation. Their problem is not so much scoring. Their problem is how do you stop the other guy from scoring?
Jaco Dick's ready to take the kick. Of course, you're right. It's Paul Troth who quarterbacks the Amsterdam Crusaders as they get the extra point. And not, of course, Mike Kane, who'd have a very busy day if he was both being leading running back for the Roosters and quarterback for the Crusaders.
Well, he's done about everything else he can do. Might as well throw the ball a few times anyway. Can't do any worse than what I've seen so far. They haven't thrown the ball very much. They've got the Helsinki team has a basis of running the ball, keeping it on the ground, wearing down the other team's defense. If they score in this one, it's going to be rather difficult.
Well, that was 11 plays, 57 yards the drive for the Crusaders, which took them into the end zone to recoup some of that 14-point loss. Johnny Johnson, the assistant coach with the Crusaders, said before the game they couldn't stop the Roosters. Here's the replay.
Just Paul carrying the ball over, asking everybody to just take one step, plow forward as far as they can. I'll follow you right behind.
As I say, Johnny Johnson knew that the Crusaders were going to have trouble stopping the ground game of the Roosters. Nobody's done it yet in Europe. The Crusaders said, we can't do it. We haven't stopped anybody yet. What we can do is outscore the Roosters. And that's the task they've got here in the fourth quarter. As you see, Jaco Dix put the ball on the ground, ready for the kickoff.
We're going down yet again to the final quarter with one touchdown in between as two fired-up teams go at each other.
Mike Kane having trouble getting the return safely in his hands, but he makes it out to the 37-yard line. Ball number 69. I beg about 99 with a stop on him.
I think you're right the first time. 69, one of the special team experts came in, made the tackle, and I'm glad he did for their sake, because Mike Kane looked to see a little bit of daylight, was hunting upfield, having bobbled the ball. He got a little bit of break coming on the inside. Met number 69. Thank you very much. Otherwise, he was gone.
There you saw it. It was number 69, Martin Tyson. Credit where credit's due. As the Roosters hand off to Ari Tooley. And that is the Finnish rushing game that we've been talking about all the way through this game. You know it's coming, but you just can't stop it. Martin Tyson made the eventual stop, but by that time they were up to the halfway line.
That was against the grain, though. If he went, he was trying to get off tackle left, and he had to, as you can see, he had to cut back against the grain to get there.
47-yard line. .47-yard line as the Finns run it again. This time the Amsterdam defensive line combines. Jinder Ramsahai, you see there, coming in, making the stop at the line of scrimmage.
They're coming with that fullback up the middle, just keeping everybody honest. It doesn't gain anything, but what it does do is make the linebackers be aware that if they don't cover that fullback, they'll be in trouble.
Well, they stop the Roosters at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10 now for Helsinki. Kane goes in motion, he gets the pitch out. And he met Martin Tyson and Marcel Deneboom making the stop for the Crusaders defense. But he's managed to plow inside the Amsterdam half.
Number 53 is making a lot of his tackles. He calls also the plays up there, adjusting the defense. As you can see here, the defense shadowed a little bit to the left, met the run, stopped it cold. Number 53 is not only playing his position, but he's also calling a lot of the defensive signals out there.
That's Jinder Ramsahai, and if the name sounds familiar, it's because his brother is number 36, the leading running back for the Crusaders. As Mike Kane gets the ball, and it's another big game for the Roosters. Martin Tyson coming in on the stop. But the Roosters have now moved the ball up to the 41-yard line of the Crusaders.
Well, here we go again, the same play, cutting inside, taking out number 51 on the outside. They make a step to the outside, and they reverse themselves, come into the inside, 6-8 yards each play. Very nice blocking.
Well, that's a nice afternoon's work from Mike Kane. 1st and 10 now for the Roosters. Mr. Ari Tooley, number 34, he's round the right-hand side of the offensive line on the sweep. Makes it to the sideline before Marcel Deneboom comes in on the stop.
Just a simple running play. Watch the pulling guard on the right side. Watch number 44 in his block. Just out of screen on the right, took one man down, gave an extra 5 yards to his running back. Here he comes again, following his blockers. It's easy when you've got that many blockers out in front of you.
It's the 32-yard line now for the Roosters. There goes Kane. But the ball was with number 20, Jussi Arontola. It's so hard to follow the running backs with these Finnish ground attack. They mix it up. It looks as though it's going to one of about 3 backs.
Well, they're just taking the man on the inside. It's a quick dive right off the number 20. He's put in his stomach. He trips over a man going up. Otherwise, he would have gone a lot further than he did.
He took it to the 31-yard line as the down markers come out for a measurement. It's inches. It could be a first down for the Roosters. Whatever way, it's inches either way. It is a first down for Helsinki.
The Dutch really want to stop this drive if possible. They don't want to go to the last 5 or 10 minutes of this game, or last 5 minutes of the game, 2 touchdowns down. They're tired. They really want to stop this drive. They might get a field goal, but they don't really want to give up another touchdown at this time.
Just 6 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the game. 7 points still behind. The Amsterdam Crusaders trying to stop the Roosters' drive. Hand off to Ari Tooley. And he finds those holes so easily. The stop by Romeo Banderson, defensive tackle for the Crusaders, but it happened too late because the Roosters have already moved up to the 22-yard line.
Well, I was going to comment on the pulling guards again because they pull from one side of the field so often that you would think by now the Dutch defenders see those pulling guards will move over.
Kane and he ran straight into the back. Number 82, Timo Tako, allowing Martin Tyson to come in for the Crusaders and make the stop.
If you can watch those pulling guards, watch number 69. He comes off of the right side of the ball, swings over to the left side. Almost every time these Roosters come up to the line, you watch that offensive line, they'll come off the left side, they'll go to the right side. They're clearing the lanes for those backs. But keep your eye on those offensive line players.
They're making some big holes in this defensive line of the Crusaders as we see it shift to try and anticipate the rush by Ari Tuli. He's going right off tackle. Again, he's wrestled out of bounds, this time by Martin Tyson. But all the time, they're pushing the ball upfield. They're pushing the Crusaders back towards their end zone.
Well, they're following that number 69 again. Watch that big hunk of beef moving up front. Just get behind him. Everything will be safe for a little while. Here we go, another 6 yards. Thank you, pulling lineman.
And the ball on the 14-yard line now of the Crusaders. It's one thing pulling back 7 points against a team like the Helsinki Roosters, but when you've also got them on offense driving towards your end zone, then you've got problems. Jyrki Ahola's flags go down on the play. Looked like he was pointing back to Frank Piersma, number 54.
They're indicating, or the player's indicating, he may have a face mask on there. See if we can pick up the penalty as he cuts upfield. Do we see a hand out there grabbing him by the face mask? If so, yes, it's a definitely number 54. If the referee judges that to be on purpose, it's 15 yards. If he did it by accident, 5.
Frank Piersma caught red-handed there by our replay crew and also by the officials on the field. The ball on the 14-yard line. And there he is, the guilty man himself, Frank Piersma. When you face mask someone, you want to make sure you don't do it on camera.
You shouldn't do it at all. It's a rather dangerous play. Running backs definitely don't like it.
Well, the lines moved early. We'll have to see the referee's decision about who moved first.
I think you'll find it was the outside tight end on the Roosters. I don't know if he moved so much as it's been a long, hot afternoon. He may have just fallen forward out of heat. There he goes. Woo, it's a long day.
Kari Janhanen tumbling towards the Crystal Palace turf, but it'll be a penalty against the Roosters. So a bit of breathing space now for the Crusaders. The ball's been moved back to the 19-yard line. But as the Roosters break from their huddle with a 2nd and 9, you've got to know that their offensive options aren't used up yet. Mike Kane. Again, great blocking, opening up the holes, and he burst out of that tackle from Martin Tyson. Martin Tyson, number 69, got a hand to him, but Mike Kane's such a powerful runner, he just ripped his shirt out from his grasp.
I'm afraid you won't stop an All-American with an arm tackle, and that's what we're seeing. There's one arm, 54, had him, let him go, 99, just put an arm on him. He didn't make an All-American by falling down.
I beg Martin Tyson's pardon. It was Romeo Banderson who let Mike Kane go. With the ball moved out to about the 10-yard line now. And the officials with the measuring crew trying to see if it's good enough for a first down. Tension there on the Crusaders sideline as they're trying to see whether the defense has managed to halt this Roosters ground drive.
It's 3rd and very, very short, big play, but if anybody can make 1 yard when they have to, it's the Roosters.
Just inches for the Roosters to get the first down and keep the drive alive. Pitch out to Ari Tuli. But that ball has gone loose. Martin Tyson celebrating. It looks as though the Crusaders may have it. We'll see.
No, I think the referee overruled it. It was a fumble, but if in the referee's opinion, the knee was down or the play was stopped, we'll go back to it. Here we're picking it up. He comes through. He gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. He makes a great second effort. He goes forward. The referee, there his knee was down. The ball bounced out of his hands. Here we take it from a front view. Watch him to see if his knee was down first. He's still got a hand, his knee's down, now the ball bounces out. The referee correctly judged it to have been down.
Now we see Mike Kane bulldozing towards the end zone. Ginger Ramsahai catches him and pushes him back, but that is too little too late as the Roosters make their way up to about a yard outside the end zone of the Crusaders.
Well, it's a great benefit between the game between Mike Kane and number 53 Ramsahai. They just meet each other constantly over and over and over. A great game played by two very fine athletes.
As you saw, Ramsahai wrestled Kane back away from the end zone, but of course the ball is taken from the furthest moment of Kane's forward momentum. 1 yard now for the Roosters. They already lead by 7 points. Can they extend it here? It is Kane. He took the Roosters all the way outfield, and now he takes them in.
It was again on a very great second effort. He was stopped about a yard out. Watch the line come around the side. Try and get a place for him. Stop, second effort in. Here we come again. Coming around the side. Watch the penetration. He stopped here. Leans forward. Drives into the end zone.
And after he got the first block, he had all the room in the world. That's such great blocking by the offensive line of the Roosters. Tapio makes the extra point. Good.
That referee's call on the fumble could be crucial to the chances of the Amsterdam team. The difference between being 2 touchdowns down with a few minutes to go or to having the ball with the same amount of time to go and 1 touchdown is very, very crucial. They are now 2 down. It's a difference of 7 points. That's what it would have been if Romeo Banderson could have kept the fumble, but the officials ruled he didn't. 3:33 minutes left in the game, and the Amsterdam Crusaders trail by 14 points. We've seen some spectacular comebacks from this team, but this really would be a miracle if they can come back now. Well, I think
Kane, number 9.
We're going back to watch this fumble. As we pick him up, coming through the line, it's if, in the referee's opinion, the man is down and stopped. Does his knee go down? Yes, I think it does. The ball then popped out. The referees were right. It's a blow to the Dutch, but it's referees right on the spot doing their job.
No recovery for Romeo Banderson. Number 9, Kane, carried 21 times for 189 yards and 3 touchdowns so far today. The longest has been 52 yards. And that is Kim Tanglisson. As a flag goes down on the play, he's made it out to the 32-yard line. We'll wait to see what the penalty is on that.
Usually when you get a flag on a kickoff team, it's because you're not allowed to block. When you receive the ball, you're not allowed to block below the waist, so as not to incur injuries. It's the only time when you're only allowed to block above the waist. It's probably going to be a penalty against the offensive team.
Holding. On the red, on the return.
A call
First down.
against the Amsterdam Crusaders. They were penalized for holding on the return. They'll start the drive 10 yards further back from Kim Tanglisson's return point. It'll be the 22-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Crusaders. Trott needing to score quickly. He goes to the pass, but suddenly it's all going wrong for the Crusaders, intended for Rob Kimman.
Well, we had a view there of a Dutch bench looking a bit despondent. The very plays that worked for them against everybody else, throwing deep to the sidelines, 15 and 20-yard patterns, has not worked as well against a well-briefed and very talented Helsinki Roosters squad. We're going to have to see Holland throwing the ball almost all the time. They'll only do the occasional running play to keep it on it.
Well, the Roosters got a 2nd and 10. They're 14 points behind. They need long passes. I think we may be seeing Mark Schrader coming in here soon. Troth back for a long pass. And that hit by Bill Jackwish on number 40 came a little late.
Well, he's enjoying that hit. I don't think it happened before them, though. As it came up, it looked to be a screen. He threw. The blockers were lining up. He lobbed the ball gently in there. Boom. Number 80 just laid the hit on him.
And trough there with Ari Kalto on his face, which can't have helped his composure as he tried to find the receiver.
It was a screen. You could tell by the depth of the quarterback. He went back almost 15 yards, but the play broke down.
3rd and 10 now for the Crusaders, and they need to keep the drive alive on this play. There's the long bomb. It's to Schrater. He's a clutch receiver, but number 55, Timo Tako, covered him all the way on that play. Incompletion for the Crusaders.
Well, there's just no way of penetrating this very, very good coverage that Helsinki's put up. They've done their homework, they've done their scouting reports, they've covered everything that Amsterdam has been able to throw at them so far, and you really have to congratulate the Rooster defense. Everybody talks about their offense, but they have done a very good job of shutting down Paul Troth.
Indeed, it was the job the defense did on the highly potent offense of the Milan Frogs in the semi-final that was one of the major factors in getting the Roosters here to this final. A final which they're leading by 14 points with just 3 minutes 11 seconds remaining. There you see number 56, Theo Webster, on an unhappy Amsterdam sideline. It's been a fairy tale road to the Eurobowl final for them. They weren't expected to beat the British champions, the London Ravens, in the first round, but they did it. They scored a magical come-from-behind win against the Berlin Eagles. It seemed they were the fairy tale team, the Cinderella team, if you like, of the final, but it seems as though that story has come to an end, and it's going to be the Roosters who live happy ever after. Fourth and 10 now on the 22-yard line.
Well, they're gambling for the lot because they've got to get down, they've got to get 10 yards ahead. Doesn't do them to give up the ball. 4th and 10 from deep in their own territory. Receivers have got to get 10 yards, and instead, while waiting for him, he got the first sack of the game. I think that is indicative of the game.
Timo Tako, number 55 for the Helsinki Roosters, and he might have just put Helsinki's name on the Eurobowl.
Watch it, he's going back, he's driving back almost 10 yards, looking, nowhere to go. Number 55 does exactly what a quarterback doesn't want to happen. Comes up from his blind side. Paul doesn't see him moving. He's looking downfield, and boom, there he was.
Paul was busy eyeing Mark Schrader, the clutch receiver who'd got open downfield. Timo Tako wasted no time in taking advantage of that to record a sack. Martin Tyson, number 69, combining with number 51, Jacko Dix, to make the stop on Jussi Arantala as the have a first down with about 3 minutes left in the game.
Well, they're on the 2nd down now, but the difficulty was that they had to take that gamble from the Dutch side. That gamble that didn't pay off has put the Roosters on their own 14-yard line. Amsterdam's up against it once again.
2nd and 12. Jyrki Ahola, he slips on the 15-yard line. Well, it's 2nd down and 12. That was the play. You saw Jyrki Ahola looking as though he was going to make a big gain.
Watch those pulling linemen. Here they come again around the outside. Number 50 lays on a good block. Unfortunately, his back had gone down behind him. Those pulling linemen are making all of the difference in today's game.
And that would have been a big gain, but the Crystal Palace turf got to Jyrki Ahola, even if the Crusaders couldn't. 3rd and 12. With a handoff to Dooley. Again, it's run right off tackle.
I think you'll see that looked pretty much like the play we just saw, only this time the back continued on. He's down to about a 5-yard gain. I think we're going into 4th and 5.
Ginger Ramsahai, the familiar name cropping up on that stop.
Here he is, just turning the corner, coming inside the outside man, number 31. 31, they spun him around. He showed his back to the running back. You can't attack anybody with your back.
Well, number 31, Ricardo Zimmerman, had 2 game-breaking punt blocks in the quarter and semi-finals, but that time he was left cold. It's the 8-yard line. It's the Helsinki Roosters on offense, and it's 4th and about 6. As Mike Kane goes in. 4th down, and he converts it into a touchdown.
Well, if we've seen him do it once, we've seen him do it a number of times. Instead of going outside, He stays inside just slightly, cuts across scrimmage, incisive running by Kane. Here he comes again. Instead of going outside, he plants his right foot, cuts up inside the outside people. Number 31 makes a despairing grab, and Mike Kane's in there. Here we go. Everybody going outside. He cuts inside that last man. 2 red jerseys on the outside of him.
Well, that's touchdown number 4 for Mike Kane as they take the extra point, and it is good. But there's a flag on play. There's a yellow flag down on the play as the officials discuss who's the penalty against.
Well, we're seeing in this game exactly what I was afraid of in the early part, where the Helsinki ground game has finally worn down an incredibly brave Dutch team. But they've taken it to them. The Helsinki team has done everything and more that was expected of them.
The penalty was against the defense. The Roosters decline. The penalty will be taken on the kickoff. The score is 35-14.
We see some heads down here on the Dutch bench. We see some smiling coaches. Here's this play again, coming along. Pitch on the outside. He looks outside. There's no room. He's following number 65 on the inside. 2 jerseys. Number 31 on the outside. Somebody has to follow the cutback. You can't everybody go after the ball carrier. Somebody's got to stay at home.
14:35 here towards the close of the 4th quarter, and that's the effect it's having on the Dutch bench. There you saw Rob Kimmen. He's a wide receiver, number 8, but he's missed a lot of his receptions today. Well, the kick goes into the end zone. It will be touchback. Smiles on the faces of the Helsinki players. But, of course, the end of a dream for the Crusaders.
At best, we've seen a game where it's raised the standards of European football yet again. It's also showed what you can do without a passing game. This is a team that has passed 2 times in the entire game and have racked up 35 points against a very good Dutch defense.
Johnny Johnson, the assistant coach, likens them to Oklahoma, the college team in the States, because they rely so much upon a ground attack. And Oklahoma certainly have been able to mark their prowess all over the college divisions of the States, winning a national championship.
I think we're seeing something that shows how Paul Troth is trying to help the Dutch squad. They've replaced and they've got the Dutch quarterback on the field for the first time today to give him a little big game experience, which will stand him in good stead later on when he starts making his own career.
That was Derek Horvers. He handed on to Henry Castillion, and the stop was made by Kai Oi. 2nd and 7 now at the end, the dying minutes of the 4th quarter. Horvers steps back for his first pass. It is good. Raymond van Gerhardt, the tight end, catching the ball on the 30-yard line. And that'll be good enough for a first down. Kai Oi, the strong safety, coming in on the stop.
As he takes the several step back, 1, 2, 3 steps, holds the ball, looks to his receiver, releases. Completed pass, tight end, 100% passing completion ratio.
Well, the ball just past the 30-yard line. It's a 1st and 10 for the Crusaders. But with a 21-point deficit, it does look as though the Crusaders' achievement ends here. They've won a lot of respect and a lot of fans here in the Eurobowl tournament for their spirit and drive and commitment, and above all-round niceness. They've been tremendously good-natured. They've been friendly to everybody, and they've never given up hope.
Well, I think hope is kind of out of the way just now. They've got 3 touchdowns behind. There's down to 1 minute and 11 seconds. They're playing now for the experience to give some of their new players a big game flavor.
1st and 10. Derek Horvers takes a snap. He's one of the best Dutch quarterbacks in Dutch football. As Henry Castillion is not happy. The flag goes down at about the 30-yard line. Henry Castillion still standing there on the sideline in disbelief. It looks as though the penalty may have been called against the Crusaders, and he's unhappy because he thinks the Crusaders should have been awarded that
Well, if you watch it, when it comes up here, the referee blows the flag. Number 33 comes up the field. The flag goes down back at the line of scrimmage and late.
Well, a minute to go in the game.
Against the offense, 5-yard penalty.
Called against the offense, they lose 5 yards on the play. First and 15 with a ball on the 30-yard line. There you see Tristan Ronde going in motion for the Crusaders. And Horvath's back to pass. Intended for Delena Van Gyn, who was on the 45-yard line, but it's incomplete. Cornerback Ilka Hipponen, number 45 of the Roosters, in on tight coverage there for the Roosters.
As this new quarterback drops back, he looks to the right, drops his left hand to throw the long pass, just overthrowing slightly his man on the right-hand side. He's got quite a good arm. We can expect a lot from this man in the future.
As we say, he's one of the leading Dutch quarterbacks, but because Troth is such an experienced play caller, he goes in as backup to number 15, Paul Troth. But he's a good thrower in his own right. Ball on the 25-yard line, 2nd and 15. Well, there you saw the pass rush.
The screen play was set up that way, with the quarterback dropping back, allowing the defensive line to think he was in trouble, lobbing a pass over their head to his intended receiver. Unfortunately, as before, here we are, the quarterback dropping back, letting the defense think he's in trouble. A short pass should find a lot of red jerseys up there, but the receiver got in front of his line. He must stay behind the line so he can catch the ball and have blockers in front of him.
Right. He kept his control on the ball, getting it to Rufus Van Gogh before the stop was made by Kai Oi. Now we see him throw again, but it's dumped off to the sidelines. Coverage a little too much for Derek Horvath there. Well, it'll be 4th down with 1 second left in the game. And you start to hear the celebrations from the Roosters sideline. They know they've got this final sewn up. They are going to be the champions of European American football. 4th and 10 with a second to go. And there it goes. That's what they call the Hail Mary. There's a flag down on the play, but it's all over for the Crusaders.
Well, you've got nothing to lose by throwing the ball up in the air like that, only because, if nothing else, you might get a penalty, which is exactly what they got. You throw the ball off, everybody meets in the middle of the field, and you hope the referee sees the other guy hit you first.
First down.
Well, it's a defensive penalty, and the rules state that you cannot end the game on a defensive penalty. So the Crusaders are awarded a first down at the 45-yard line. The call was interference against the receiver there on the play.
I think you'll find that 1 second that you referred to is up on the scoreboard, but the clock is kept on in the field by the referee, and that pass and penalty would have stopped the clock. I think we'll be seeing the last play now.
Well, as we say, it cannot end on a defensive penalty. The Dutch have one more chance, and there goes the ball. Winston Ronde, but it's not going to be. Winston Ronde hitting the ground.
That is the end of the ball game.
He had Ranulax all over him. That's the end of it. The Roosters have won it. The Roosters from Helsinki are the Dutch champions. Now we go over to Simon Reed. He's on the sidelines for an interview with the winning team.
Get the coaches. And with me is Mike Kane, who's been named man of the match. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. You know, it was tough. You know, they were playing real good in the first half, and we couldn't get a drive going like we, you know, in the other 2 games we were able to control the ball and get, you know, long drives to eat up the clock. In that first half, boy, it was tough for us. But, you know, Coach Don Chad, they did a good job at halftime, made some changes for us, and it, you know, worked out just right.
You must be very pleased you made the decision to go to Finland.
Oh, yeah. You know, I just wanted to play some more football, you know. I really enjoyed the game, you know, and I thank the coaches that they gave me a chance to go over and play, you know.
And your defense played well.
Oh, I think they kept us in the game, you know, because the offense struggled so much. It was them that I think won the game for us today.
You look pretty calm, but beneath that, are you emotional to have won the Eurobowl?
Oh, yeah, you know, it's an emotional time, you know. I'm happy.
Is going to be a celebration tonight, Mike?
Probably. I'm sure there will be. I don't know what we're doing yet, but I'm sure there will be.
Right, thanks very much.
The roar of the crowd as the Finns hold the helmet aloft. The Eurobowl is theirs, and so are the celebrations.
Well, I think the semi-final against Milan, which Helsinki just won, was the key. It was a magnificent game, but they just scraped home. Ultimately, they came here to play the Amsterdam Crusaders. They looked as if they might be in trouble early on, but they broke through magnificently and won by 35 points to 14, the second successive time a Finnish team have won the Eurobowl. And it shows, too, that American football can be played in Europe as well. From Crystal Palace, goodbye.